Okay, so are you ready? All right, so get ready to dive into some serious pre-fight mind games with this one.
Oh, yeah?
This is Decca Heggie we're talking about.
Yeah.
Bare-knuckle boxing champ.
Right.
Going up against the shadow boxer, a YouTuber trying to make a name for himself.
Yeah.
And honestly, this interview you sent in,
Mm-hmm.
it is absolutely wild.
Yeah.
But we're going beyond the trash talk here.
Absolutely.
We're trying to figure out what this tells us about, like, the fight game today,
Yeah.
you know?
I think it's a really fascinating look at the clash between that old school, like, boxing mentality and then sort of the new world of online hype and, you know, and just spectacle.
Because you've got Heggie, he's all, like, you know, grit, experience years in the ring.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Exactly. And then you got the shadow boxer. He's coming in hot with this whole self-promotion angle.
Yeah.
Like, right off the bat, he calls this whole thing the biggest train robbery in boxing.
It's amazing.
Claims Heggie's getting played just by showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Party's like, is this guy serious?
Yeah.
But there's this weird, like, undercurrent where it's almost like he's trying to convince himself as much as Heggie.
I think that's what's so brilliant about it, right? Because on the one hand, he's playing this, like, David versus Goliath role.
The underdog.
Yeah. Even though he clearly understands, like, the money to be made here, you know, he's got this online following.
Right.
But by constantly saying Heggie's making a mistake, it's like he's subtly shifting the pressure
Interesting.
onto the champ. Right. It's like psychological warfare.
Wow.
But it's like aimed at the business side of things, too.
Yeah.
You know?
And it gets, honestly, kind of uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he brings up dormant steroid Jews' heads that he's knocked out, implying Heggie's never been in a real fight.
Right.
And you could practically see Heggie, like, biting back a retort.
Yeah.
But for the most part, he keeps it together.
He does, and that's the thing. Composure is key in these situations.
Right.
Because remember, this is all, you know,
Gamesmanship.
yeah, it's tactics. They're both trying to get in each other's heads before they even step in the ring.
Yeah.
And the shadow boxer, even if he is, you know, being a bit of a jerk, he knows how to push buttons.
Oh, he knows exactly what he's doing.
He does.
Because then he starts in on how he's not getting drug tested.
Right.
He even admits to taking testosterone, which, by the way, is allowed in this fight. But he's doing it to get under Heggie's skin, because Heggie's always been about clean fighting.
Totally. And it plays into this whole narrative that he's trying to build.
Right.
Right? Like, Heggie represents the old guard, you know, stuck in his ways.
Nice.
Yeah, bound by tradition.
Yeah.
And the shadow boxer is this, you know, disruptive force who's willing to bend the rules.
Right.
Now, whether that's genuine or just part of his persona, that's up for debate.
Yeah.
But it's definitely working, right? Like, it's getting people talking.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And he knows how to play to an audience.
He does.
Like, he throws out these lines like, how much should the pay-per-view cost?
Smart.
Directly to the viewers.
Yeah.
Bringing them into this whole spectacle.
It's very meta.
It is. And then there's this weird moment where he gets kind of patriotic.
Right.
Starts talking about the whole country coming to Thailand.
Chuckles.
Throws in a God Save the Queen.
Oh.
What's that about?
Well, it's actually a classic tactic, right? He's tapping into this idea of national pride.
Okay.
You know, positioning himself as the people's champ, fighting for something bigger than himself.
Right.
And it's a way to broaden his appeal, you know,
Yeah.
connect with viewers on an emotional level.
Huh, interesting.
And you see this time and time again in boxing, especially leading up to a big fight.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So we've got, like, this shrewd businessman, master manipulator, and a patriot.
It's a lot.
This is a lot to unpack.
It is.
And we haven't even gotten to, like, how they're actually going to fight yet.
I know, right? But you know what's interesting?
What's that?
Even with all the bluster, you actually start to see their fight plans come out a bit,
Oh, yeah.
you know, tucked in there.
Yeah, like, Heggie, even though he's being kind of quiet,
Yeah.
he does start hinting at how he thinks this is going to go down.
He does.
Says something like, my punches, they just get stronger as the fight goes on.
It's true.
Almost like he's saying, good luck knocking me out in the first round, buddy.
Right. Because what's he going to do if he can't put Heggie away early?
Exactly.
And then even more telling, he's listing off these combos, right? Jab, left hook, right, uppercut.
And he just rattles it off like it's nothing.
Right. But that's the thing. That's not just him bragging about how tough he is.
So what is he doing?
He's laying out his strategy, plain as day. That combination, that's all about wearing someone down. Exactly. He's known for it. His relentless pace is going to try to drag the shadow boxer into deep water, see if he sinks or swims.
Which makes sense, especially since the shadow boxer himself even says, Like his cardio might be a weakness.
Right, he's putting all his eggs in the first-round knockout basket.
Says, if you don't get me out in the first round, I can take you down the stretch.
But that's a big if.
Huge if.
Right. It's like he knows deep down he needs that haymaker early.
Because
The
otherwise...
longer it goes, advantage Heggie 100%.
Okay, so classic matchup then, right?
Yeah.
You got the veteran playing the long game
Right.
versus the young upstart who needs that quick win.
Absolutely. But then there's that other layer.
What's that?
The self-promotion game.
Oh, right.
The shadow boxer. He never misses a beat. Plugging his channel, his concrete hands bit, the whole thing.
It's true. Every other sentence is like, subscribe, like, follow me.
He gets it though, right?
Mhm.
He understands, like, these days, being a fighter isn't enough.
It's a business.
It's a brand, gotta be an entertainer, a personality, the whole 9 yards.
Love it or hate it, you got to respect the hustle, I guess.
Exactly, and he's good at it.
Oh, he's great at it.
He knows what he's doing.
Because then he goes on this whole thing comparing himself to Jesus Christ.
Right. Out of nowhere.
I mean, talk about over the top.
But again, don't underestimate that shock value.
It gets people talking.
Exactly. Keeps them guessing, are they supposed to take him seriously?
Is it all a joke?
Right, but that's the point, all that buzz. It's views, followers, sponsors.
He's playing a different game.
Oh, he's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
And just when you think you figured him out, he drops this bomb.
Oh, what's that?
He says this could be his last fight.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, claims that if he beats Heggie, that's it. He's out, retiring on top.
Wow.
So now it's not just about winning or losing, it's legacy, right?
Yeah.
Going out on his own terms,
good.
the whole 9 yards.
Because even if he loses...
He already said he was thinking about retiring.
Exactly. Softens the blow, controls the narrative again.
This guy's playing 4D chess,
He is.
and I'm not sure Heggie even knows what game they're playing.
But like we said, that's the shadow boxer's whole thing, right?
Thrives on chaos.
Exactly. Got to keep everyone guessing, even if it means like we don't know what's real, what's performance anymore.
It's all part of the show.
100%. So how do you even fight someone like that?
Yeah, how do you prepare for a guy who's just making it up as he goes along?
$1,000,000 question, right? And it gets to the heart of why this whole thing is so fascinating.
Because, let's be real, for all the talk, all the mind games,
Mhm.
these guys are still going to step in the ring
They are.
and throw down.
Yep.
But before we get into that, we got to talk about these claims the shadow boxer is making. Right? Because this is Decca Heggie we're talking about. He's no slouch.
Exactly. He's the champ for a reason.
So is the shadow boxer for real, or is it all hype? Because he really doesn't hold back at all, does he?
Nope, not even a little bit.
At one point, he just comes out and says, I don't think I could be beaten 100% fit.
Right.
Then it's comparing himself to a Premier League fighter, putting Heggie down in like Division 3.
It's masterful, honestly.
Is this guy for real?
Well, whether he believes it or not, the tactic is brilliant.
How so?
He's using humor, these little pop culture references.
Right.
It's disarming, and it lands, especially with a younger audience online. They eat that up.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And for Heggie, who's coming from this, like, old-school boxing world.
Yeah, more traditional.
Exactly. It's got to be jarring. Like, how do you even respond to that?
You're right. It's like two totally different worlds colliding.
100%.
And the insults, they just keep on coming.
Oh, yeah, he's relentless.
Driving Heggie into the ground, breaking his jaw. Even comparing himself to a fine-tuned tiger.
But see, it's not just trash talk.
What do you mean?
There's a method to the madness. He's constantly hitting that point that he's the future of fighting.
Evolution, not revolution.
Exactly. And then there's that weird bit about the ladyboys.
Yeah, I had to rewind that part a few times.
Right.
Like, what is he even talking about?
It doesn't matter.
It does.
The point is to throw Heggie off to get a reaction.
And the fact that Heggie doesn't take the bait.
That actually works in his favor.
Yeah.
Shows he's not letting the shadow boxer get to him.
Right, keeping his composure.
Exactly. This whole thing hinges on what happens between their ears just as much as what happens,
In the ring.
Yeah.
And then that's it. The interview just ends.
No way, seriously.
It cuts off mid-sentence.
So abrupt.
Like it was staged almost.
Right, like they planned it.
Leaving us wanting more, wondering what else they were going to say.
Which, let's be real, knowing the
That was
shadow
Rich's
boxer.
plan all along.
Oh, 100%. He knows how to work an audience, even when they're not in the room.
So what does this all really tell us at the end of the day?
I think the takeaway here is that we can break down the trash talk, look at the strategies.
Right.
But what the shadow boxer understands better than maybe anyone is the power of the narrative.
The story.
Yes, and love him or hate him, he's already changed the conversation, made it impossible to ignore him.
He's playing chess while everyone else is still setting up the checkers.
Exactly, and that's what makes him so dangerous.
So next time you're watching any competition,
This isn't just about fighting,
now pay attention to what's going on outside the ring, the field, the boardroom.
where the real game is being played.
Because sometimes that's where the real fight is won or lost.
100%.
This has been a wild one.
Tuckles. Tell me about it.
Thanks for deep diving into this with me.
Anytime, man.
We'll catch you all in the next one.